A new Meg movie featuring not just one, but 3 megalodons and a bunch of other creatures as well, like a kraken, squid monster, whatever you want to call it, and some dinosaurs as well, maybe, and just a bunch of other creatures and stuff. And you have Jason Statham coming back on like, huh? It's a megalodon and all that shit. Like, how could you possibly make that boring? Like, it's not even possible. Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to the Grandma's channel. Welcome back to another movie review. And the movie I'm reviewing today is not Barbie or Oppenheimer. I know, right? Fucking weird. Instead, it's another shark movie because obviously we don't have enough, and it's a shark movie that started off with a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's rough. But hey, I mean, it's Jason Statham. He's back, and you know, it's a megalodon and all that shit. You know. Meg 2, The Trench. A sequel that we didn't really need, but we got anyways. The Meg 2 is like the most typical sequel ever. It's trying to be bigger than its predecessor. We have Jason Statham and his little gang coming back to go up against 3 megalodons, a kraken, and a bunch of other different creatures, and it's just meant to be dumb fun. And that is exactly what I was expecting to see in this movie. Just a bunch of dumb, fun shark action that doesn't make sense at all. It's just the type of movie where you stuff your whole face full of popcorn and have a damn good time. And that's what it seemed to be, judging from the trailers. Like, I thought it was worth seeing in a theater, and now I've seen it. So what did I think of Meg 2, The Trench? Well, I can confidently say that the last, 40-30 minutes of this movie is exactly what we wanted to see. A bunch of dumb, fun shark action that doesn't make any sense. But everything else in this movie, I'm gonna flat out say it, is pretty terrible. The first hour and 20 minutes of this movie, so like almost this entire movie, is so boring. They accomplished the impossible. They made a movie featuring 3 megalodons, a kraken, a bunch of other different creatures, and Jason Statham. Boring. It was bad. But before I get into the negatives, let's talk about some positives. Thankfully, I can say that the CGI in this movie is fine. It's nothing too, amazing or anything. It's not like, oh, that looks fucking beautiful. It's just fine. There was only one shot in this movie of a megalodon that was, really close by. It was swimming past something, and it looked pretty terrible. I was like, whoa, okay, that looked pretty bad. But other than that, the megalodon and just most of the CGI in this movie looks fine. And yeah, I have no big complaints on the CGI. I thought it was fine. Jason Statham in this movie is just typical Jason Statham trying to be badass in almost every scene he's in. Unlike all the other characters in this movie, he at least makes this film a little more watchable. He's just fun. He's the fun guy in this movie. And he really truly gets to shine in the last 30-40 minutes when he's, going up against a bunch of megalodons. But everything else, he was just fine. He was just typical Jason Statham, and he made the movie a little more watchable. And like I keep mentioning, the last 30-40 minutes of this movie, just the big finale, is what we wanted to see. A bunch of megalodon action, a kraken popping up here and there, a bunch of creatures we get to see as well. And even characters that we don't like for the good majority of the movie getting killed off. It's the most satisfying finale ever. Well, not ever, but it's a pretty damn satisfying one. And it's just what we wanted to see. It's a bunch of stupid things going on, like Pippin. You remember Pippin from the first movie, the little puppy dog? For some reason, that dog makes a return in this movie and even joins in on the action a little bit. And it's why? Why are you bringing back the dog from the first movie? It's so random, but that's what we wanted to see. A bunch of dumb shit going on. And there's a bunch of, besides the megalodon action, there's a bunch of other stuff going on that gave me Jurassic Park, the first Predator movie. It gave me vibes from that movie, and it's I don't know why it's a megalodon movie, but there's all this other stuff going on. It's why? It's stupid, it's fun, but why? It's what we wanted to see. It's just dumb fun. That's legit all I can say with my positives. Without getting into spoilers, that's all I can say. Now it's time to get into some issues. Yeah, so, the first hour and 20 minutes of this movie is not good. It's really boring, and it's I just didn't care what was going on at all. For a good majority of this movie, we are down in this trench that the characters are exploring and stuff. We're in this trench for a long time in this movie, and it's really not a very interesting looking area or location that they're in. This whole trench, its design and how it looks and stuff, it's really dark and you can't really see anything, and it's just really bland, and we're stuck down there for a good majority of the movie, and we do occasionally get some shark action here and there, but it's dark. You can't see anything, and it just makes the scenes a lot more uninteresting and really boring and just really hard to watch. And I didn't care. And yeah, the scenes that we get down in the trench were kind of shit and were not very good, and it was just dark, and I couldn't really see what was going on, and it made the scenes really pretty bad. There's this whole subplot going on with these characters that, you know, are trying to do something down in this trench, and it's like it's evil characters, evil humans doing things, and it's like really generic and shit, and I didn't care at all. And we spend way too many time, way too long with these human characters. I just did not give a shit. And then this movie becomes Call of Duty for a while. Like for a bit, there's a bunch of characters with guns on a boat shooting each other, and it's like, I came here to see fucking megalodons and a kraken and a bunch of other creatures, not a fucking humans shooting at each other like this is some live action Call of Duty or some shit, and they're on a boat. Like, I don't care about this. Just give me some megalodons. Holy shit. I did not ask for this. Like, what the fuck? And yeah, like I was kind of talking about, I didn't really care about the characters in this movie, especially the whole villain humans that were the very generic plot that was going on. Those characters, I did not give a shit about. Every time they popped up in this movie, I was like, fuck off, like seriously. But even the main characters I didn't really care about. Like, I don't know, like the little girl from the first movie comes back, and you know, it was cool to see her again, all sort of grown up, and you know, the interactions she has with Jason Statham were kind of, you know, they were nice. She's like smart, and she's all of a sudden like a scientist, and but she still makes really dumb decisions that almost gets her killed. And yeah, overall, I didn't really care about the characters. Like, besides Jason Statham, didn't really care about the characters, and I just found them very uninteresting. Although I really enjoyed the last 30-40 minutes of this movie. It was very fun. It was stupid, but it was enjoyable. It wasn't intense. It wasn't suspenseful in the slightest. Like, one of the issues with these, like, stupid shark movies is that, yeah, they're fun, they're stupid and enjoyable, but, like, there's no suspense. Like, you always get this feeling like the characters are going to be fine. No one's going to die. Everyone's going to be A-okay in the end. Like, there's no intensity. There's really not any scenes during the finale that's making you go, oh my god, they're gonna die. Someone's gonna die. Oh shit, they're gonna get eaten. The shark's gonna get them. Oh no. Not really any scenes that's like that throughout the whole movie. There's one or two scenes with the shark that's like, oh shit, what's about to happen? Oh no, oh god, oh no. One or two scenes that's kind of like that. It's like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? But other than that, there's no suspense. You're not fearing for the characters because you always just get the feeling that, like, they're going to be fine in the end. They're going to be okay. This is something I didn't really want to complain about, but because this movie is just so bad and boring, I'm just going to say it. Give these movies an R rating. Like, seriously. Like, the deaths in this movie are pretty lame, and they play it safe. There's no blood or anything. There is one part in the movie where it's like a POV shot of like the megalodon's mouth, sort of, and it's like inside the megalodon's mouth, and we see a bunch of people getting eaten alive, and it looks really cool. That was one part where I was like, holy fuck, that was great. That was cool and pretty fucked up and terrifying, and that was really good. Other than that, they play it safe in this movie. The deaths were pretty lame. There's no blood. It's just, I don't know. I just thought, like, give these movies an R rating. They would definitely make them a lot better and a lot more interesting and enjoyable, but no. They play it safe. And yeah, clearly I was not at all a fan of the Meg 2, The Trench. It was definitely not as good as the first movie. Like, I wasn't too crazy about the first movie, but that movie definitely had, you know, I thought the characters were a lot better, and the action scenes were way better. Like, the Megalodon stuff in that movie was just actually really cool. In this movie, it was just not good. The whole trench stuff going on was lame and uninteresting. It was really just the last 30-40 minutes where it actually gave us what we wanted to see. And everything else in this movie was just pretty bad. I would recommend you go out and see Meg 2, The Trench. Well, I don't know. Like I keep mentioning, the last 30-40 minutes of the movie is what you really need to see. It's what we all want to see in this movie. Everything else was just really lame. So I guess you can just watch at home. You don't need to see it in the theater. You can skip it if you want to. If you want to see it, that's fine. You can check it out. You might like it. But judging from the 0% on Rotten Tomatoes and what the 30% score it currently has right now, it seems a lot of people do not like this movie. So you probably won't like it. But hey, you never know. Alrighty guys, this is going to be the end of my review of Meg 2 The Trench. Thank you so much for watching. If you've seen Meg 2, please let me know what you thought of it down below. If you liked it, hated it, or thought it was meh. Let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, what other stupid things could they possibly do with this franchise, like in a Meg 3? Like, what other stupid, idiotic things could they possibly do in another movie? What do you think they could do? Roar like a lion. Yeah, that's great. Ah!